Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the IndieZoNe. My name is Kathy. Over the course of the past several days, I've been monitoring the docket pretty frequently in Idaho versus Kohberger because we were anticipating that a number of items would appear on the public docket, specifically items that the state of Idaho was required pursuant to a deadline rendered by Judge Stephen Hippler in his pretrial and trial order of October 9th, 2024. Pursuant to that order, the state of Idaho's responses to Mr. Kohberger's various motions to compel, to suppress evidence, were due December 6th, 2024. I previously reported in a very detailed episode of the IndieZoNe here on YouTube a couple of days ago what the case status report that is maintained by the clerk of court in Ada County stated was filed December 6th, 2024. There were a slew of documents filed by the state of Idaho, some of which were filed under seal. Many others, however, were not filed under seal. Those documents did not appear on the docket on December 6th, which was a Friday. They did not appear on the docket on Monday, which was the 9th, nor did they appear on the docket on the 10th, which was yesterday. So now it's been, with the weekend in between, 5 days since the unsealed documents responsive to Mr. Kohberger's various motions were filed, and the public still has not seen them because they are not on the public docket as of yet. Now, what has happened so far and what is scheduled to happen next is set out for us in the October 9th, 2024 order that was entered by Judge Hippler that established that December 6th deadline for the state to respond. Let's look briefly at what that order says. You need to turn to page 2. The top of page 2, there is a section B, motions. The first item are the DP motions, setting forth when those motions were due, when responses were due, and when the hearing, oral argument, occurred. And we know that all of those events have already happened, and we know that Judge Hippler denied all of Mr. Kohberger's motions to set aside the DP. Go to the second paragraph. This is entitled Discovery Motions. It says, the last day to file motions to compel regarding any known unresolved issues is November 14th, 2024. So what does this mean? When the court says unresolved, this is referring to the fact that parties should not immediately run to the court and ask for the other side to be compelled by the court to turn over discovery. There's an obligation that attorneys should try to work out differences. So in other words, let's say that Mr. Kohberger filed a motion or filed a discovery request, and the state responded with objections to certain of those discovery requests, saying they were not discoverable. There should have been some sort of communication between the two sides to try to resolve those issues. If they're not resolved, then that's when a motion to compel discovery is appropriate. So per this order, the last day to file motions to compel discovery, that's evidence that Mr. Kohberger believes is in the custody or control of the state that he feels is important to his defense was November 14th, 2024. And if you look at the docket, you will see that there were numerous such filings that met that deadline that Mr. Kohberger, through his attorneys, submitted. Responses to those motions are due December 6th, 2024. If you look at the next paragraph, this is the Rule 1-2, Rule 12, ICR motions, and this includes motions to suppress. All motions governed by ICR 12, that's a rule of court, including motions to suppress evidence, are due by November 14th, 2024. If you look at the docket, you'll see that there were numerous filings by Mr. Kohberger to suppress certain evidence. And if you look at the case management report that the clerk filed, there are many filings related to motions to suppress that are under seal that we have not seen as the public. But in any event, Mr. Kohberger met that deadline. Responses to those motions, this is from the state now, are due December 6th, 2024. So these were the things that we were anticipating and that were filed on December 6th that still do not appear on the docket. And I, quite frankly, am perplexed why they didn't show up at least by the 10th of December. And I give this opinion pursuant to the First Amendment of the United States Constitution, which guarantees us all freedom of speech and, as podcasters, freedom of the press. There are so many documents that are under seal, so many things. We have 20 discovery requests in total that Mr. Kohberger has filed. All 20 of them are under seal, as are all 20 of the responses from the state to those discovery requests. And what I call a mountain of other evidence is still under seal. So with this background, I repeat, I'm quite perplexed why the December 6th filings that are not under seal have not yet appeared on the public docket. If and when they do, I will, of course, update you here on the IndieZoNe on YouTube and also on the IndieZoNe podcast, where we have looked at the Idaho versus Kohberger docket in detail. From the first item filed, which is the Affidavit of Probable Cause, all the way through the last one. We are approaching 350 episodes right now. The most recent was filed yesterday, or was published yesterday, and it has to do with yet another matter that is beyond the public reach. This hearing that is scheduled to occur before Judge Hippler on the 11th, which is today at 2:30 p.m., and which we learned yesterday when the notice of hearing hit the docket, is a defense motion. We don't know what those motions are that are being called up for hearing. It is an ex parte matter. The state of Idaho was not even served with a copy of that notice of hearing, which is quite unusual. I cannot remember ever seeing something filed by one side where at least the other side is not being served. In any event, I want to thank you so much for joining us here at the IndieZoNe on YouTube. My name is Kathy. I wish you a great day.